Hey everybody, this is Will, and I'm here as always with my co-host Josh.
What up, what up?
So we got something crazy to bring to you guys this week.
Yes, we do.
So we have an interview with, I think is someone really special that really kind of blew our minds.
Right.
This week we're talking about the subject of tulpas, which I believe a lot of people may get misconstrued from episodes of TV shows like Supernatural, for example, had a tulpa, where what it was the sum of fears of all these people in this town or something like that, culminating and creating a thought form, which is what it is, something created out of a thought, and creating this monster out of their compounded fears. So that's what we went into this sort of thinking we were getting into, just having like a cool conversation about some creepy stuff. And it didn't turn out that way. Starting the research, what we found out was that their tulpas are, in fact, were first referenced in Tibetan Buddhism as basically a form of consciousness brought on through meditation that is separate from one's own. So basically having another consciousness inside your mind, separate of your own thoughts and volitions. And come to find out, there are people still practicing this today, and it's helping them in all sorts of ways. And what I kind of want to do is just put a disclaimer at the beginning of this whole thing. We're going to keep the intro short just because the interview ran way longer than we thought it was going to, because it was so fascinating. And basically what we have is this sir, I'm going to have to say. Definitely a sir. His name's Jacob. He's a University of Texas student who is doing research and publishing papers on tulpas and how they're effective in helping people with mental illness. And he himself has this tulpa that he's meditated and created. And I think a lot of people, when they start this, are going to come up with, this is mental illness, this sort of thing. And I think Jacob does a really great way of explaining this in the interview, that it's not exactly a mental illness if you're using a particular form of thinking or creating something that is helping you. So but the whole thing is basically this concept of plurality, of having more than one consciousness inside your mind, and using it to your advantage. And Jacob, and I believe by now, I've done a lot of talking to people on the subject of tulpas and their own tulpas, and Jacob is just a great example of someone who's just, a lot of people are going to jump and say people are crazy, and I don't want that, because Jacob is just a hugely stable example, who he himself has gone through some bad stuff, and he's just a great guy.
He's a positive story on the account.
Yeah, exactly. He's a positive story. It's something that helped him. He's a physical trainer. If you're in, was he in Austin? I can't remember where he was at. I'm sorry, Jacob. I know you're listening. Hello to you, and introducing your tulpa here, Ori. It's
Or Ari.
Ori.
Ari, yeah.
Yeah, we did have that little bit of a debate on how it's pronounced.
Yeah.
But hello to you too. I know you're listening. So to everyone else listening, I just want you to keep an open mind. This is something that was so out of reach, I think, for a lot of, like, if we were having this conversation 10 years ago, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Yeah, plus even today, it's not really talked about. I mean,
it's controversial.
I didn't know what tulpas were at all until you came up to me and told me about. Oh, look at that! We got a fire hydrant.
Fire truck.
Oh yeah, a fire truck. I remember what I was saying. Yeah, so I didn't even know like what tulpas were at all until Will came up to me and was like, "Yo, you know what a tulpa is?" And I was like, "No." And then he started telling me like the Slender Man example.
Yeah,
and that's just one like form. That's not even what we're getting into.
That's like that supernatural sort of
supernatural.
The supernatural, not just the show, just the level of supernatural sort of stuff,
Yeah,
like
'cause that
interpretation of it.
That example is where there's a bunch of people that are thinking about the same thing, and they're making it more powerful and bringing it to life through fear.
Yeah, or it could be brought to life through other things, but
Yeah, that's the supernatural example.
Yeah,
For this example, it's one individual consciousness creating another consciousness.
yeah, and so we're not gonna let it go any further without starting the interview. Yeah, without further ado, I just hope everyone has an open mind. Man, enjoy. Hey guys, Will and Josh back one more time. We weren't not gonna hold up the interview anymore. We just we wanted to say after reviewing everything, we made a mistake, and that mistake was that we recorded our audio in this interview from a phone into another microphone.
With an ambient mic.
Yeah, that was
Instead of going direct from the phone to like a board or something which you can possibly do nowadays.
Yeah.
Somehow.
So we're gonna do the right thing next time, and our quality is gonna be a lot better. If you have any questions about the interview or anything Jake said, or if you have any questions for Jake, please send us a DM over Twitter. You can check out the Facebook page,
email, whatever,
Yeah. You can email us at talkingbackwardspodcast.com. But again, bring on the hate mail. So that's it.
Without further ado.
Yeah, enjoy. All right, so we're here with Jacob, our sort of liaison here into the world of the Tulpa thought form. And me and Josh, I've only been skimming the Reddits for a couple days learning about this stuff because I actually initially started out thinking this was a sort of a monster sort of thing, like something that was created because it was featured in a few episodes of different things. I've read about it in different science fiction stories and stuff like that. But really,
creepypasta science fiction story.
Yeah, that sort of stuff is where I was coming from with the thought of a tulpa, and I've actually learned that it's something completely different, and that's more of a very bad reaction.
It's not so much that it's completely different, it's just the world of it is much broader than you thought.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. In fact, if you take a step back and you look at it, tulpa phenomena is something that can give insight into just about every aspect of human identity and imagination. It is not a secular topic. It is something that's interconnected with just about every facet of our psychology.
That's so amazing. Just hearing that right there, like it's such a concept that I think is new to the Western world because as far as I understand it, it originated in Tibetan Buddhism. Is that true?
I wouldn't say that tulpa phenomena originated in Tibetan Buddhism as much as certain sects of Tibetan Buddhism perfected it. So, in actuality, tulpa-like phenomena are very much present in the West. It's just not acknowledged as being something like that. So, just to give you a definition of a tulpa is a willingly created identity. It's part of a broader phenomenon known as plurality, which is a state of multiple identities coexisting in one mind. Tulpamancy is basically getting there. It's a way of becoming plural. It's a way of creating new identities that coexist with you in your brain and body, usually as a source of companionship. But to get back to what I was saying, in the West, for example, we have millions and millions of Americans who are practicing evangelical religion, where they're taught practices very, very similar to tulpamancy, and they're taught to experience not only the presence of God, but how to see God in their everyday lives, to the point where they might hear him now and then, to the point where they might get conversations with God every single day. My point being that, tulpas or tulpa-like agents are everywhere, and this is just one example. They're just not acknowledged as being a psychological phenomenon or acknowledged as being tulpas.
I see.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah. It does.
It's more of
It's because all those people are all like thinking about the same thing, and therefore I created it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like one form. If I'm understanding this correctly, that is like one form of like the tulpa. Like,
I'm not sure what you're talking about. So if you're talking about group reinforcement, that is a huge part of it.
yeah, like the fact that like the god that they are worshiping is being like reinforced by like the whole group, and like all those people are thinking about it and like just making it grow bigger. In a sense, like,
I would say that it's more the fact that everyone else gets results and the fact that it's considered normal that makes it the most powerful. So I know what you're getting at.
oh, I get what you're saying.
Supernatural episode.
Yeah.
The tulpa is portrayed as, hey, the more people that believe in it, the more powerful it gets. I think that was a symbolic take on the fact that the more societally and culturally reinforced an idea becomes, the more real it becomes for its members. Vizier published a paper about, in 2015 called Varieties of Tulpa Experiences, and he phrased this really well, where he talked about childhood imaginary friends. The way we treat childhood imaginary friends for most kids, like, for example, if your kid goes, hey, this is my imaginary friend, Eddie, and so the parent kind of goes, that's, yeah. But in Vizier kind of explained, if your parent goes, oh yeah, that's Eddie, all of us have an Eddie, and they interact with us in our day-to-day life, and we can fully see them with our eyes, and we can hear them with our ears, and they're really great lifelong companions. Every single person has one. If your parent told you that, you'd have a buddy named Eddie your entire life. So to answer your question, does multiple people believing in one entity make the entity more powerful? No, but it does make it more real for your subjective experience.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting.
So let's see from there. I just wanted to mention Vizier. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, Professor
Samuel. Yeah.
He's
McGill University.
Anthropology at McGill University. Yep.
All right.
He ran a few surveys on the community a while back, and he got some really interesting results. In fact, once it inspired me to conduct my own research on the subject.
And let's see. All right, so to get into Vizier's work, what exactly did he find with his study? I think it was 2 years ago, 2015.
Yep. Well, it's hard to say what his results were because his research was very explorative. He didn't really go in with any hypotheses. He just wanted to go in and see what was going on.
All right.
He came out with, I'll give you the highlights. So first of all, one of the most common accusations made against tulpamancers and people that have multiple identities in general is that they inherently have a mental illness. That multiple identities is in of itself harmful. This belief is misled for a few reasons. First of all, people who make this accusation don't really understand what the actual problems with mental illness are. So, what defines a mental illness is something that hurts your ability to function. If something isn't harmful, if something doesn't affect your ability to live life and be happy, then it's fundamentally not a disorder. What Vizier found was that tulpas were not harmful. In fact, in the majority of cases, people really enjoyed having a tulpa. They thought they were great friends, great companions, causation of mental illness. In fact, he did see certain benefits associated with tulpamancy. We need to understand why people make tulpas. Vasir found that the most common reason someone makes a tulpa is out of loneliness. People, let me just tell you about myself for a little bit. When I discovered tulpas, I had just moved from Mississippi to Hawaii. I move every other year as a military brat.
Oh, wow.
And I had always had a hard time making friends. And at this point, I did not fit in well in Mississippi. I didn't have any friends there, and I moved to Hawaii where I still had no friends. I was pretty much the only social interactions I were having were with my parents. My mental health was really going downhill. I felt alone, and I was just sick of abandoning my social life over and over and over and over. This is when I discovered tulpas. In the community, tulpas are advertised as ideal companions. Beings that understand you, because they share your mind and body. People that will always be there for you. This was really something I needed at the time, so that's how Ari came into existence. What the research by myself and Vasir shows is that tulpas are effective at helping those with loneliness. Even if it's not their company itself, tulpas almost always have the best interests of their host in mind. So Ari has helped me immensely in putting myself out there, building new relationships. She even guides me in social situations. This is what I thought was the most significant finding of this year's study, and that is tulpas seem to enhance theory of mind. What this year's data showed was that a lot of tulpamancers reported mental illness. The mental illness they had before tulpas. Mental illness that basically made tulpas a more appealing concept. He found that tulpas helped these people with mental illness, and one group stood out, those with autism and Asperger's. So this is a disorder that is high-functioning autism and Asperger's. This is a disorder that's most pronounced in issues, building relationships, reading social cues, functioning in a society that so heavily demands eye contact, really great reads on body language, and subtle suggestions. Autism and Asperger's makes you bad at all those things. But tulpas, Vasir found, may be independent of their host's mental illness. These host being the person that created the tulpa, hosts reported that their tulpa had no issues reading social cues, were able to guide them in social situations. And Ari's done this countless times where I'm like, hey, Ari, I don't know what's going on. And she's like, Jacob, they want you to leave. Go ahead and politely excuse yourself so you don't embarrass yourself. But thanks, Ari. This would have gone downhill if I didn't do that. Or even better, for Ari telling me, hey, Jacob, you're being really apathetic right now. You need to take a breath. You're upsetting her. You need to console her. And point being, Vasir found that tulpas improve theory of mind. So even though these systems, these people that had tulpas were diagnosed with autism and Asperger's, they scored average or above average of theory of mind, which is your ability to read others, your ability to tell what others are thinking. And this blew my mind. I'm like, what? Autism and Asperger's, these are neurodevelopmental disorders. It's not something that's caused by hormone levels or your mood. It's something that's ingrained in your neurology. How could tulpas supersede that? The instant I read his paper, I'm like, I need to look into this. There is almost, at the time, there's a little bit more now, but at the time there was no other interest in researching tulpas. Vasir was the only expert that had done anything on this.
Wow.
So it makes me wonder if nobody else is going to research this, I'll take, I'll take the wheel. I had a few ambitious plans, but I eventually downscaled on running a few randomly sampled surveys on all the forums. And I wanted to investigate to get more evidence on why tulpas have a positive impact on mental health and socialization. 2, I wanted to confirm and expand on this association between tulpas and improvements in mental illness. I published the results in an academic conference last year at UT Austin, the university I'm attending right now, and everything only supports and expands on what Vasir saw. First of all, I should have brushed up on my stats. Basically, most tulpamancers with mental illness report that their tulpas are either somewhat or significantly independent of their mental illness. And this is not just autism. This is anxiety. This is depression. Even disorders like schizophrenia. There are hosts that say that their tulpas are able to tell between delusion and reality, which is something they cannot do. One host even reported their tulpas zapping away intrusive thoughts, voices, and delusions. Let's see. And then with cases of anxiety and depression, just having someone in your mind that is not depressed, is not always anxious, can be immensely helpful. Rule it down, the number one reason tulpas seem to be associated with improvements in overall life, improvements in social life, improvements in mental health is just that they tend to be great companions. I remember one host with schizophrenia, their tulpa didn't have any superpowers, didn't have any ability to zap away delusions or anything, but he said, I hear voices all the time. It's nice to hear a pleasant one from a tulpa for a change. I think that tulpamancy may be key to unlocking a lot of latent potential in the human mind. I think it's something that can help a lot of people, and me and a few other experts are working on more research to better understand the phenomenon and investigate any possible therapeutic applications. What do you guys think of that?
That's amazing.
That's incredible.
Honestly.
I'm painting a chiropractic office, and
I have a question.
happening. All right.
This is just like a curiosity question of mine. Do you think someone could have a tulpa and not even like realize it, but like, I don't know, like
Even if you don't have a name for it.
if you don't have a name for it, like I find, like, I don't know, from personal experience, I find myself like, I don't know, it's like talking out into the void, I guess you could say, like, and like I'll get an answer, you know what I mean? But I haven't named it, or like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Hey, if you want to turn that into a tulpa, give it a name, give it a form, talk with it, figure out who it wants to be. I'm not saying that tulpas are something that you need to train for, that there's something sacred to online tulpamancy practice. I think it's something that anyone can very easily experience. I think it's a more advanced part of very common parts of human cognition. I know so many people that have tulpa-like experience that are just a small portion of belief away from having a full-blown tulpa. One of these groups of people are professional athletes. So, before I got here, I was doing some shadow boxing with Ari, and that's basically where shadow boxing is when instead of fighting an actual person, you're fighting an imaginary person. And experienced boxers, they have such vivid visualizations of their opponent to the point where it's almost hallucination. They act on their own. They might even have some banter back and forth. And Ari basically acts as my opponent in these cases. And that sort of visualization of your opponent and them acting autonomously, that's something most professional athletes do and that they experience. And I'm like, hey, if you took that visualization and you kept talking with it when you were done fighting and you reinforced that and you believe they were an independent agent, that could instantly be a tulpa. I think that it is really, really easy to make new identities in your mind. I think identity is so much more fluid than this notion that multiple identities are something that's harmful and only seen in cases of severe trauma is very, very misled.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it's so fascinating.
I'm like just like sucking this in. Everything that you said, like this is like it's a lot of information. It's awesome.
It's a lot of. I find it's a lot of sort of. I know this isn't
it's
a
like
word.
the most direct, like bang, just laid it out.
Yeah.
Like
It's almost sort of, and I know this isn't a word, but miscognition of understanding the human mind. And it's like, it's almost like it just turns a key and goes, oh, this is here. Like,
I know.
So what I want to, I want to ask one more question that I feel understanding this a little more. I solidly know the answer to, but I really want to like drive the point home. Are tulpas sentient?
Yes. And before you object, we need to define our terms.
Yes, I agree.
Sentience is the ability to feel and perceive. Alright, I need to get something off my mind real quick. Miscognition is a word. I googled it while you guys were fangirling. It is a word. Good job.
Yes. Was it used correctly?
Probably not.
Okay, good enough. Well, we're bringing it back. Hashtag miscognition. We can get into Merriam-Webster with the other stuff that's coming in.
So, are tulpas sentient?
Yes.
Do tulpas have the ability to feel and perceive? I say absolutely. The reason I say that, and the funny thing is, the only evidence I have to support that is what tulpas say. You know, if a tulpa says, right now the only evidence we have as to whether or not tulpas are sentient are anecdotal reports by tulpamancers that say, oh yeah, my tulpa says things that nobody else, that I wouldn't even think of. And Ari's done this many times. You know, we do have some ability, some parallel processing abilities. If I give her a math problem and I give myself a math problem, by the time I'm done with mine, she can probably just tell me without me even thinking about her problem the correct answer. She thinks differently than I do. She feels differently than I do. She is more empathetic, more emotional. She has the ability to level with people and emphasize that I hope I will have it one day, but I don't know if I ever will. The fact that my tulpa is so distinct for me, the fact that she does have her own thoughts and beliefs, stuff that I can't touch, does leave me to say with reasonable certainty, she is conscious, she is sapient, and she is sentient. Is anecdotal evidence in these subjective experiences, do they come above hard science? No. But we don't have any hard science saying otherwise. We don't even understand how human consciousness and self-awareness works. We don't even know how singleton identity works or how it forms.
Very true, very true.
I see a lot of people theorizing, even today. So I made a video on this. I wrote an essay on it as well. What is consciousness? If you look at the most, what's it called? Here, cut out this part. I gotta find my terms. It is protocol. I need to get this word right. One second.
Sure, find it. Do you want to pull up the Instagram and just do a quick swipe? Maybe a quick video of while we're talking in a few minutes and just throw that up there because we're trying to learn how to self-promote.
Oh yeah, no, if you check out my YouTube channel, the video I'm referring to is, it's titled You Are Real, I think, on the thumbnail. It's called, let me just go ahead and skim through this, Cogito ergo
What's your YouTube channel?
Ford and Ari. Yes, integrated information theory. Here we go. Let me go ahead and link this video to you. So I made a video on this. What is consciousness? If you look at the theories of consciousness, what it is, how it works, they're gaining the most traction right now. One of the ones that stands out to me, especially as someone that believes multiple identities are something that's possible, is integrated information theory. The gist of integrated information theory, and this is an oversimplification, is that you're not either, there's no such thing as being fully conscious or fully unconscious. It's not a binary like that. Rather, consciousness is on a scale, and that scale is measured by your ability to process information and make advanced conclusions. So by this logic, an insect might have a very small amount of conscious, and a human with its greater ability to rationalize and ponder morality and the like is very conscious. So simply because Ari and Tulpas and other Tulpas are capable of processing information on their own, they are, to some degree, in my opinion, to a very high degree, conscious.
That's incredible. So I at this point in time, I do want to acknowledge that Ori is here with us, and I don't want to be rude and just say hello.
I've never heard someone say, I don't want to be rude, but hello.
Well, yeah, I feel as if I was rude not acknowledging her until this point. I've been thinking about it for a good few minutes. But
Yeah, right. How's it going?
Yeah.
You want to talk to her?
Yeah. Could you describe Ori and her personality a little bit to us? Just.
Sure. I'll give her a brief introduction, and then I'll have her possess the body.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ari has been in my life for the past four years and maybe a month or so. I met her in the summer of 2013. Let's see. Over the past several years, she's been there for me when nobody else will be. She's given me company when nobody else wanted to. And our relationship has evolved and matured a lot over the years. If I had to describe a relationship right now, it would be a team. We have a lot of shared goals. There's very few goals that we don't share and work together on. We're very committed to optimizing this life we're sharing. Very focused on making sure the body's healthy, making sure that we're getting ourselves to a good place in life. And we also have a lot of shared goals in regards to promoting plurality and showing how tulpamancy is somebody that's healthy. So how is she different from me? Let's see. I would describe her as more empathetic. I tend to focus on the details. I think Ari's a little bit better at seeing the bigger picture, being able to step back from a situation. I'll leave it to her to pick off where I left off. She might experiment with changing the voice a little bit. We've been practicing lately. If it sounds weird at first, she may just refer to sounding like Jacob, but we'll figure it out.
Okay, sounds good.
Let's see if we can do this.
All right.
I am about to perform a tulpamancy technique known as possession. Before I go, I do want to explain one more thing.
Sure.
So, Ari's about to control my body. What? That's just like dissociative identity disorder. Not exactly. What makes DID a disorder isn't the fact that there's multiple identities, isn't the fact that different people can control the body at different times. It's the fact that people with DID went through severe trauma, usually as a child. They were either physically, sexually, or really emotionally abused, and to escape certain emotions. They try to repress a lot of memories, a lot of emotions, and that repression ultimately led to the creation of different identities that oftentimes embody those repressed memories and embody those repressed emotions. The point being, what makes DID a disorder isn't multiple identities. It's trauma. In fact, the way you treat DID, or at least the most effective way that you treat DID, isn't by recombining all the different identities. It's teaching them how to work together. So no, I don't have DID just because Ari's about to speak through me.
No.
Yeah. And in regards to schizophrenia, I don't think I addressed this in full. Schizophrenia is nothing like tulpamancy. It's a disorder that's defined by not just hearing voices, but having delusions. If you acknowledge that the voices, if you acknowledge that your tulpa isn't really there, that probably means you don't have schizophrenia. If you're grounded in reality, you're not schizophrenic. Schizophrenia isn't even really something you can give yourself. It's mostly determined by genetics. In fact, funny thing, one of the new ways we're learning to treat schizophrenia is by, rather than telling the client that their voices are always going to be harmful, like our society does right now, it's telling them that that voices don't have to be bad. Teaching them how to engage their voices. In fact, giving them agency, giving them a personality, talking with them, sometimes even giving them a body, an avatar. There's some people, this one therapy makes you embody your schizophrenia into a computer program with an avatar and a personality. Or you can do this in your mind, give it a body and a personality and avatar. You communicate with it, you talk to it, you negotiate with it, you make it nicer, you seek to understand it. Basically, you turn your schizophrenic voice into a tulpa. That's an oversimplification. That is not what they call it in the actual therapy, but the similarities are uncanny. The people that do this, not only do their voices oftentimes get more pleasant, get less harsh, less delusional, but sometimes they even go away entirely.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
It's really cool stuff. This is, I have an interview on my channel with Professor Tanya Leherman. She talks about it a little more in detail, a little bit more accurately. It's a long interview, but you will learn a lot if you watch it. Man.
We're definitely gonna watch that before we do the intro and everything.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I guess it wasn't made personally for us, but thank you for all your research and everything.
Yes, it's a lot of work.
Oh, this isn't my research. This is the work of many others.
Well, so far the work that you've put into it to get this out there, I don't think we would have even known about this if it weren't for you. So.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. There's so much work to do. The information I'm telling you right now, it can fundamentally change how we treat all these mental disorders. But almost no actual therapists know about it. None of the people on the front lines know about it. People on the front lines are more likely to tell me, are you sure that Ari doesn't tell you to do bad things? They're more likely to assume that Ari is something harmful rather than something that can actually be therapeutic in cases.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like
the fact is I'm not doing enough.
No, well, we're definitely here to help. We'll help get your work out there.
You're interviewing me. We're talking about this. We're getting the message out there. You guys are doing your part. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, thank you. So the one more thing is. I wanted to say something about schizophrenia, but I think it's lost. Yeah, it's almost as if medical treatment these days is in terms of psychology is treated as almost seeing these, like trying to recognize these holy grail cases and just like this romanticized version of how mental health actually works.
Yeah.
That just it seems kind of like that. It's kind of a desperate trying to find a story for yourself. Sort of like archaeologists going into it thinking they're going to be Indiana Jones. Like, not to discredit anyone, but
No, yeah, they just think that
It's just the way the world thinks now. Is it's a stigmatization, really.
Yeah.
Right. So much of our current treatments are based on stigmas and biases that have really existed just for a long time for not very good reasons. I need to do some more research on why exactly the West is terrified of hearing voices so much, but it's likely rooted in Christianity and demon hearing.
Yeah, because they just associate it with something like a demon, exactly like you said.
Oh yeah, when my parents first found out about my tulpas, they tried to get me into a spiritual cleansing class. Second thing they did was try to diagnose me with schizophrenia. Luckily, my therapist was very competent and explained to my parents that that's not how it works. I have another video on my channel explaining that goes more in detail on my experience with telling my psychiatrist about tulpas. And now I'm actually therapist shopping, and every single one of them. If you tell your therapist 3 things about your tulpa, you're probably going to be okay. 1, tell them that they're not really real. 2, tell them that they don't make you do things against your will. And 3, tell them that you enjoy their company and you like having them around. If you tell them those 3 things, most therapists are going to be, all right, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So, I guess I apologize to Ori for taking her time away again.
No, that was all me. I decided to go on that rant.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was very
Those were key points that I wanted to get in before I handed the mic over.
No, exactly. I had been thinking sort of, you nailed it on the head. I really wanted to bring that sort of stuff out, and say that it's mental illness that is a flawed, that flaws a way of thinking, sort of.
Yeah, so just to bring it back in full circle, okay, well, if hearing voices isn't a mental illness, then what is? A mental illness is something that is harmful, something that impairs your ability to function in everyday life.
Right.
Delusions do that. Being sad all the time does that. Being anxious to the point where you can't go to class does that. Having an imaginary pony companion doesn't always fit that criteria. Speaking of which, let me go ahead and hand the mic over to the lady herself.
Hey guys, it's Will and Josh. We're back. That's part 1 of our interview with Jake and Ori. This being Jacob's portion in our next week's episode, entitled Interview with the Tulpa. We're doing exactly that and interviewing Ori. This has been such a weird experience. Like, just coming about from when I started researching this, thinking I was just coming up with like a monster story for us to do, to
what it actually unraveled into.
Yeah, exactly. And I've got more stuff planned on the subject if anyone's interested, because over Reddit I've been interviewing a few people. I have one person definitely who's extremely reputable in the subject. I'm not going to say anything until my conversations with them are completed, just out of respect for them. They may decide in the end, like, no, I don't want to be exposed to the world, because this is still like a controversial thing. Yeah, and
at least though, for our next episode, we got the Ari interview coming up.
I'm so excited. Like, her interview is I hope everyone still keeps an open mind about this, because it's a controversial subject, but people like Jacob mentioned, I feel like, again, a lot of people are stigmatize this as mental illness, but there's no research done on it. There's absolutely no scientist who's gone into this, so there's nothing saying that he's not wrong, and he's the first.
There's only that one guy, right? Well, he's not a scientist, actually.
No, he's a professor.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, he's a professor, and he basically what he did.
What was his name again? Do you remember?
his name is Samuel Vassir. He's from McGill University, and he wrote a paper in 2015 that overviewed the whole active tulpa community that Jacob is a part of. And basically, what he saw was there are people with mental illness, there are people without mental illness. Jacob himself has done research, and from his small sample size that he got, 56% of people had, and this was a decent amount of people, not too big, not too small for a sample size, but he had 56% people with mental illness, 44% people without mental illness. So that's almost 50-50. Like, what people like Jacob and Professor Vassir are trying to get across is that this is not a result of mental illness. This can help mental illness.
Hey, listen!
I'm so glad I wasn't talking in the middle of that. Hey, maybe we'll get a Nintendo sponsorship.
Yeah, it's not intended to cure it's not intended to cure mental illness. It may help mental illness. It might. That's the thing. Basically, what he's saying is that the tulpa doesn't cause mental illness.
Yes.
Mental illness is pre-existing.
Yes, the plurality
tulpa,
of the mind.
Yeah, the tulpa could actually exist beyond the mental illness, is what Jake said earlier.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't actually have any of those traits and could actually
Be effective in helping.
help the person.
Yeah.
But you know what we should do right now?
What should we do right now?
Because we are running to the end. Let's hit the plug button and do the plugs.
Let's do it. Alright, so obviously we're going to plug ourselves, Talking Backwards podcast. If you enjoyed what you heard today, please show all your friends. We are broke and we want this to start making money because we want to keep bringing content to you guys and teaching you these awesome things. So if you want to check us out, we're on YouTube at Talking Backwards. There's our Facebook page, Talking Backwards again, Talking Backwards podcast. It has been such a tremendous journey, and now you can check us out on our new, better Twitter handle. I figured one out.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, at Talking Backwards Cast.
Talking Backwards Cast.
Isn't that so easy?
That's better. That's
See,
better.
isn't that better than talk_back_pod?
Yeah.
Man, that was a thumb up the ass. And not the good kind, like a bent one. Alright, anyway. So that's us, Josh. I know, as always, I want to spotlight Sunlit Audio, so...
Oh yeah, Sunlit Audio. If you go head to sunlitaudio.com, you can see all my work. You can see all my stuff. I got like 2 music projects that I do, and then this podcast, and that's all on the website if you want to check it.
Sunlitaudio.com.
Sunlitaudio.com.
And then, of course, our esteemed guests today, Jake and Ori, we want to just give a shout out to them and thank you so much for letting us interview you guys. I hope, with most respect, we have treated you. We'd love to have you guys back on because it's such a pleasure talking to you guys, and I've had subsequent conversations with Jake, just talking about all different sorts of stuff, and it's such a pleasure talking with them. It's it's fantastic. They're fantastic people.
It's cool to meet someone who's doing it and living in a positive manner with it. You know, it's like a good example.
Yeah. So if everyone wanted to check out more about Jake's story and the work that he's doing, he has a YouTube channel. His most recent video is about how his tulpas have helped him cure his social anxiety. He does all the work himself. It's incredibly well produced for someone just trying to do all this by themselves, working late nights. So I'd love if everyone could just take a click over to their channel. We'll put it in the notes for this episode, so you can just make a quick click over to it. But it's youtube.com/Ford Anori, FORDANDAURY. And
that's it. Until next time,
Yeah.
basically, right?
yeah, he's got his whole story up there, and it's he's had a tough time, and
Oh yeah,
And-
as we heard in the interview, he's gone through a lot of things. He's a strong individual.
yeah, absolutely. So to everyone out there, thank you so much for watching. Next week we'll have the interview with Ori, and just keep your minds open.
So we wanted the Talking Backwards podcast.
Yeah, because we're gonna get into some crazy stuff here in season 2, and this is only the start of it.
Hell yeah.
All right,
Stay tuned.
have a good one.
Peace.